a troubled peace, the US, Russia, and the Ukraine conflict. The war in Ukraine grinds on. Russia invaded in February 2022. The conflict has been devastating. Millions of Ukrainians are displaced. Thousands of soldiers and civilians have died. The international community seeks a peaceful resolution. However, the path to peace is fraught with challenges. Mistrust runs deep between Russia and the West. The US has played a significant role in the conflict. It has provided billions of dollars in military aid to Ukraine. The US has also imposed sanctions on Russia. The Biden administration has condemned Russia's aggression. It has called for a diplomatic solution to the crisis. However, the US has also made it clear that it will defend its NATO allies. This has led to tensions with Russia. Russia, for its part, has shown no signs of backing down. It has continued its military offensive in Ukraine. Russia has also threatened to use nuclear weapons. The Kremlin has accused the US and NATO of provoking the conflict. Russia demands security guarantees. It wants NATO to halt its eastward expansion. The conflict has had a profound impact on the international order. It has shattered the peace that existed in Europe since the end of the Cold War. The war has also raised questions about the future of NATO. The alliance is facing its greatest challenge in decades. The conflict highlights the importance of diplomacy. It shows the need for international cooperation. In a surprising turn of events, the Trump administration announced peace talks. These were to be held in Saudi Arabia. The US delegation was led by senior officials. These included National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff. However, the talks were notable for their exclusions. Neither Ukraine nor any European nations were invited to participate. The exclusion of Ukraine and Europe sparked immediate controversy. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed his disappointment. He stated that Ukraine should be a party to any negotiations about its future. European leaders also voiced their concerns. They questioned the US decision to exclude them from the talks. French President Emmanuel Macron warned against any agreement that would legitimize Russia's territorial gains. The Trump administration defended its decision. It argued that previous negotiations had failed due to too many parties being involved. US officials suggested that a smaller, more focused group would be more effective. However, critics saw the exclusion of Ukraine and Europe as a sign that the US was willing to make concessions to Russia at the expense of its allies. The Saudi talks ultimately proved to be fruitless. No breakthroughs were achieved. The lack of progress underscored the deep divisions that exist between Russia and the West. It also raised questions about the US commitment to its European partners. The exclusion of Ukraine and Europe from the talks would have lasting consequences. It further strained transatlantic relations and cast a shadow over future peace efforts. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been a steadfast leader throughout the conflict. He has rallied his people and garnered international support. Zelensky's stance in any peace talks is clear. He insists on Ukraine's territorial integrity. He refuses to cede any land to Russia. He also seeks concrete security guarantees for his country. Zelensky's primary demand is NATO membership for Ukraine. He believes that this is the only way to deter future Russian aggression. Zelensky argues that NATO's collective defense commitment would provide Ukraine with the security it desperately needs. He has repeatedly called on NATO to expedite Ukraine's membership process. However, NATO members are divided on this issue. Some fear that admitting Ukraine would escalate tensions with Russia. In addition to NATO membership, Zelensky has proposed a range of security guarantees. These include continued military and financial support from the US and EU, the deployment of international peacekeeping forces to Ukraine, and the establishment of a no-fly zone over Ukrainian airspace. Zelensky's proposals reflect his understanding of the security challenges facing his country. He is determined to ensure that Ukraine is never again vulnerable to Russian aggression. Zelensky's unwavering commitment to Ukrainian sovereignty and his pursuit of robust security guarantees have earned him admiration both domestically and internationally. His stance reflects the aspirations of the Ukrainian people, who have shown remarkable resilience and determination in the face of Russian aggression. Zelensky's leadership will continue to be crucial in shaping the outcome of the conflict and the future of Ukraine. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has profound implications for European security. It has exposed the fragility of the post-Cold War order. It has also highlighted the challenges facing NATO. The alliance has struggled to present a united front. The war has also raised questions about the future of US leadership in Europe. The exclusion of European nations from the Saudi peace talks has exacerbated these concerns. Many European leaders feel that the US is not taking their security concerns seriously. They worry that the US is willing to cut deals with Russia at their expense. This has led to calls for greater European strategic autonomy. Some European leaders believe that Europe needs to develop its own defense capabilities. They argue that Europe can no longer rely on the US for its security. The outcome of the conflict in Ukraine will have a lasting impact on the future of Europe. If Russia is able to achieve its objectives, it will embolden other revisionist powers. This could lead to a more unstable and dangerous world. However, if Ukraine is able to resist Russian aggression, it will send a powerful message. It will show that the international community is willing to defend the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity. The war in Ukraine is a tragedy for all involved. It is a reminder of the human cost of conflict. It is also a wake-up call for the international community. The war highlights the need for a renewed commitment to diplomacy, multilateralism, and the peaceful resolution of disputes. The future of European security, and indeed the international order, hangs in the balance.